Tony, dig through the cockles of your heart and think to the most heart freezing moments of your Lions Saints history. Or is that for Riz?
There are two to come to mind immediately. One I was not on the sideline for, which was 1970, the Tom Dempsey field goal.
Sure.
I think everybody, when you think of Saints Lions, you got to think of the Tom Dempsey field goal. The other, you just mentioned the playoff game. I don't think anybody forgets the Lions had a 14-10 lead at halftime inside the Superdome, which was as loud as I'd ever heard it. I still maintain the Superdome, Qwest Field in Seattle, and Arrowhead Stadium are the three loudest stadiums I ever worked in, period. I mean, you could barely hear yourself think. But that stadium was raucous. There was 99% Saints fans. You saw an occasional Lions jersey here and there, but for the most part, it was, if you saw a jersey, it was Saints. And you thought, are they going to escape out of here with a win? And then the Saints in the second half woke up and just pounded the Lions in that second half.
And you saw, I mean, in this last game against Green Bay, you saw how much that crowd meant. The second Aaron Rodgers went to that silent count, blew him off, drew him off sides. It was like, oh, never would have happened, right? It never would have happened in there. Incredible to see how much of a change that is for that team at home. How much of that do you think, Riz, has taken an effect on their record this year? Their home crowd silence.
I think a little bit of that. They certainly feed off of it, and a lot of teams have mentioned that they're missing the fan, the energy from it. You know, Aaron Rodgers talked about it. I think it's the ability to build momentum. You know, if you're doing okay on the field, it doesn't matter so much. But if you're in a tight game and you make a big play, you expect that roar, that rush from the crowd. And they're just not getting that to keep the energy up. You know, it's up on the players on the sidelines and the few meager fans who might be allowed to be in attendance to keep that up. And it's just not the same. And, you know, we've all played sports enough to know that you thrive off the emotion or you wilt under it. And most of the guys that are in the NFL are there because they thrive under that sort of emotional intensity. And it's just hard to replicate that with no fans there. So it's definitely impacted them at home.
Go ahead,
and Chris, this may be the one game where the home crowd would have been negated. And Jeff, I hope you agree, because New Orleans is so used to that noise, that pounding noise from the Superdome, that even with the noise at Ford Field, that might not have been as big a factor as it might have been, say, for Green Bay or for Chicago or any other team, because the Saints are just so used to that noise. They also kind of feed off the crowd, and I think without a crowd at Ford Field, that might help out the Saints a little bit in this game. Having
been at the Dallas game last year, I think Ford Field can often feel like a home field advantage for a visiting team.
We have unfortunately heard that. That will not happen this time. There is hope that we will get fans at some point in the fairly near future with Governor Whitmer easing up the restrictions on who can attend outdoor football games specifically. That's been loosened up as of next week. Indoor, you can increase your capacity, but it hasn't been applied to the Lions or other professional sports yet.
They just announced nothing in November. They had some ticket packages sold, and they're giving money back. So no people. It's going to be December before anyone's in there. Yeah. So we can cheer from home. I mean, my neighborhood knows.
We will cheer from home.
It's going to be so weird to watch the Thanksgiving Day game and have no fans in the stands, no guys with turkeys on their heads or anything like that. It's just going to be real strange to not see that in the crowd on Thanksgiving Day.
If we could stream that, I would set up some watch-alongs. Get some fans, get some people to like do some big Zoom watch-alongs for folks to have our own fandom or whatever. But it's tough, man. It really is tough not to have that crowd there, and like to even plan to come home. Right, for me to fly back into Detroit, I always do at least one game a year. I know Q, one of our listeners, great guy. He has season tickets. He lives in Atlanta and flies in for every single game at home, and he's committed. And he got they returned him his money this year. He's just bummed. He's, you got some people who love the city, want to come home.